What is going on out there, peeps? Alrighty, man. Today I had a chance to, of course, do a show again with April and AJ. You guys get a chance to check them out. They're spiritually on Raw, as usual. We always have a lot of fun, so I was grateful for that. Talked about a few things, especially when it comes to just Sarah and this Sarah. I've told people a lot of times, man, look, not only is it possible, but if you watch my videos, I'm actually showing you that it's actually happening already. All right? So either way, let's get into Iraq real quick, because Iraq, I think, is part of a much bigger thing that could be linked to Nasera Jacera, which is the global currency reset. More I read about this, the more I am getting convinced that there is a much bigger thing happening. All right. So anyways, let's get past this little nifty flag, because there's some good things coming up. Now, I told you this is going to happen. I told you that Al-Qadimi was approaching both Saudi Arabia, and that he would ask Kuwait for forgiveness of debt, and then also, in addition to that, consider investing big moolah when it comes to helping them get off the ground running. All right, there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be done. They need a lot of outside investors coming in. All right, so let's talk about this. Diplomatic sources settled the controversy over the news of Kuwait forgiving Iraq's debt. That's big news, man. I told you part of the UN's issue is that they square away everything with the Kurds, that they do what they need to do to pay the debt off to Kuwait. So, Kuwait diplomatic source commented on the rumors regarding Kuwait's forgiveness of Iraqi's remaining debts, linked to the compensation for the invasion of the previous regime and postponement of other payments. The source said in a newspaper that the Iraqi Prime Minister, during his visit to Kuwait, submitted a report on behalf of his country's government to postpone the payments of the remaining debts for a period ranging 1 to 2 years, given the economic conditions imposed by the low oil prices, as well as the repercussions from the Rona. All right, so there's a study underway. Now, I do think it's a little bit interesting that they're pushing it out possibly 1 to 2 years. Well, what can happen in 1 to 2 years? I know. They could have a rate change and they can afford it. Yeah, that's what we're all looking for. So, anyway, so the source pointed out that Iraq had to pay Kuwait shares of debt in months of April. So they paid Kuwait $440 million, indicating that the total remaining balance is $2.8 billion, which is actually not a lot, surprisingly. So I can understand if that they indeed do go ahead and forgive them for the debt, and it's not a lot, but we'll see what happens. The MP, the former Kuwait, Dashidi, wrote yesterday, Thursday, that his country's exempt Iraq from debts amounting to $3 billion and decided to postpone further payments. Dashidi wrote on his Twitter, "Congratulations to Iraq to exempt debts of about $3 billion due to Kuwait and the postponement of about $1.6 billion more dollars." Now, notice it doesn't say dinar, whether it's Kuwait dinar or Iraqi dinar. It just says dollars. That's US dollars. So, Kuwait nor Iraq has formally announced the existence of such an agreement between the two countries. I already anticipated this was going to happen. I really did. We talked about it in the other videos. So this is big news. This is good, you guys, because one of the things that the UN wants is there to be some type of agreement and a debt settlement between Kuwait and Iran. And again, cha-ching, just check off another list. Whoosh, check off another box on their list of things they need to do for the UN. Man, I am every day I keep talking about this, but I'm truly impressed with the relationships and what's going on with the Al-Qadimi while he is in the office. This guy seems to be accomplishing a lot, which is really good. Within hours, a Kurdistan delegation to negotiate the budget for Hussein's foreign minister. Okay, so the leader in the Barzani, let me get the word out, Barzani party revealed today, Friday, that the Kurdish delegation will visit Baghdad within hours to negotiate the budget and Hussein's foreign minister. Mahdi Karim, man, these names are killing me. Leader of the Kurdistan Democratic Alliance, led by Barzani, told the newspaper, "We have successful and strong alternatives for Hussein, which will be presented in the coming days if the parties in Baghdad insist on rejecting Hussein. Okay, so as you know, we're filling the remaining positions of al-Qadimi's government. So one of these are, and the Kurdistan have the right to put some of the people in there, and that's what's happening. That's what we're seeing happening. So look, I've talked to a ton of people about this. People are asking me about the cabinet and other things that are going on. There seems to be a full steam ahead, if you get my drift, when it comes to getting Iraq positioned for whatever's getting ready to happen. Al-Qadimi, as soon as he took over office, man, everything just started rolling. And I do like the idea, and I spoke to a lot of people about this. And I chatted with a couple people from Iraq, and they're telling me that, yeah, they would love if they did dissolve the parliament, but, they don't think that's really going to happen, and that they just needed a threat in order to pass the remaining cabinet members. Well, that might be it, and it might be successful, but they also might use it as a threat to get the remaining cabinet members and turn around and do it anyways. All right, what they're trying to do is get rid of all of the Iranian influence, and it looks like this is what they're doing right now. So look, Kurdistan is trying to get over this week. So here's what I'm saying. I think this next week coming up, you're going to see the completion of the cabinet for al-Qadimi. I really do. Because shortly after that is this. We know this. Parliamentary security and defense. The strategic dialogue with Washington begins in the middle of next month. See, they have to have a lot of these ducks in a row. So I think that's why you're seeing such a push to get something done. The Parliamentary Security and Defense Committee confirmed today, Friday, that the strategic dialogue with Washington will start in the middle of next month. And a member of the committee said that it was agreed that the strategic dialogue between Baghdad and Washington will be in the middle of next month. But the government did not give any news, especially since it did not have a foreign minister nominated to lead these negotiations with the American side, calling on the government to accelerate the completion of the ministerial cabinet in order to prepare for these negotiations. I told you that they were going to have this completed before the U.S. got there. And I told you by this next week, what's going to happen? They're going to get these things completed, all right? This is looking so good, it's not even funny, man. Okay, so the Iraq-American negotiation came according to the request from the American side to the previous government, noting that the negotiations between the two sides will not start from scratch because of the existence of strategical framework agreed between the two countries, and that they are continuing until now. Okay, the Iraqi-American negotiations started since the year 2008. Well, man, that's a hell of a negotiation, man. The two agreements merged from then. The first is the Strategic Framework Agreement, and the second is the removal of American forces, stressing that there are agreements between the ministries that will be the starting point for completing some of the obligations to the two governments. All right. We also know that one of the biggest things I want to talk about is the economical situation in Iraq and what the United States can do to help make this happen. I know what you're thinking, because you're thinking the same thing I am. Change the rate. All right. So look, you guys, it's every day now. It gets to the point. The problem is we're getting kind of numb to this. Every day there's some exciting movements going on in Iraq. And I remember 2019, not that I want to jinx it, it seemed to be doing the same thing, but this is different. This is definitely different. Okay, so we're seeing a huge push from the UN as well as the United States. We also are seeing the involvement of Saudi Arabia along with Kuwait. We know that in July, the new free trade agreement between Japan, the European Union, and Iraq kick in as well. So that's a nice boost to the economy of Iraq. But I find it very hard for them to do any kind of real trade agreements without having their currency a little bit of a different position than they're in right now. All right, you guys, so look, it's looking good. I've been reading other articles involving global currency resets, and almost every single one of them involve the Iraqi dinar. It's crazy. This is why I'm just saying, could anybody explain to me why there's 55 trillion dinars created? There is less than 5% in country, and less than 9% of the Iraqi people have a bank account. What the hell is the money for? It's for something that's coming up, and I believe we're getting ready to see it. June, I know everybody's pointing to June, and it's hard not to jump on that bandwagon. Let's just put it this way. Let's put out some good mojo. All right, some good juju. June is our month. All right, you guys. All right, so Iraq is looking good. Everything is very impressive. I gotta admit, very, very impressive with Alkanemi. All right, you guys. Just a quick reminder: if you haven't already, come join us on Facebook. I have the Facebook group with the same name as my YouTube channel, Pimpy's Investment Chat. I will leave a link in the description. It is free to come join. Also have another group called the Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes. This here is, it's more conspiracy. It is political leaning. If you're into those 9/11, chemtrails, the whole 9 yards, come join us over here. We talk about Nasera. So come join us. Although it's a nice little picture there of, who's that? Is that Macron kissing Obama? So you can see it does slant a little bit towards the political side. So if you don't got tough skin, but everybody in here is very respectful for the most part. All right, you guys come join us. There's links in the description, and it is free to do so. I'll catch you later. Bye.